my name's Steve Brocklehurst. I was a long-time volunteer with Aero Legends, and for 3 years, so I've been involved with all these aircraft you can see here. And then the owner of Aero Legends offered me a job at my time of life, but I thought I can't turn this down. So the job was to come and manage here at North Weald. Aero Legends bought an interest in North Weald as the aerodrome itself, and we're so happy and delighted to be here and be part of this historic airfield that's meant so much to the local people and to us, and to have this sort of equipment here, which used to operate here from the wartime, is exactly what we're about. So we'll be doing a lot of refurbished work going on during the winter months. We've got a hangar plan for development for new hangarage. We'll be renovating the famous squadron area for the restaurant and the NAFI, and that'll be our flight delivery centre because we will start operating the Spitfire flights, Harvard flights, Tiger Moth flights out of here in 2020. We've done a couple now, but it's just the tail end of the season. So come April, May next year, we'll start in earnest, and we'll have plenty of places booked up. So as well as operating in Headcorn, which is our Kent, that's our local area, and we go up to Sywell in Northampton, which is where I'm from actually. That's where I started my life, at Sywell. But now we can operate a third base, which is North Weald. And this is the area with a big runway that we can operate equipment like this one, the Dakota.
Big boy being moved down here yet?
No, it comes down here and it stays here during the summer, but it will go away for annual maintenance, either to Coventry or East Kirkby, whichever is decided by the management. But with this runway and this facility here, we can operate this, and we have a second one of these, which we will bring here. So during next year, and we'll be looking to try to do commercial flights with one of those aircraft around the country. So that's another passenger experience that we're looking to do.
So right at this moment, am I right in thinking that all three of these, the two Spits and the DAC, are based at Headcorn?
No.
In a bit of hangarage?
No, the Spitfires are based at Duxford currently. The Dakota will sit out here in the summer. Now we've got this site, so it will sit here in the summer months, but it'll go away to a hangar that's suitable to hold it. But that's what we want to put here. We want to put some hangarage so we can hold these aircraft here. This will be the operating base, but they will then move to places like Headcorn. So when we've got a busy weekend at Headcorn, they'll fly down there or up to Sywell or operate from here.
These are very, very ambitious plans, aren't they? I mean, we're talking a hangar. They don't come cheap, do they?
No, they don't. They don't. It's not just for our aircraft. That's not what we're about. We're looking to offer hangarage for other operators, be it either Warbird or general aviation. General aviation is very important to this airfield, and that's where the pilots. That's where they grow. That's where they come from. So a lot of people who've gone onto a commercial background end up coming to fly for us. Most of our pilots, our Spitfire pilots, nobody's got more experience of flying than those guys. Ex-Royal Air Force, but the likes of this Dakota, KLM pilots, just flown this aircraft here, which we've just done the poppy drop over Cape Le Fern on the south coast. So that was nice, and we had on the wings, we had two Spitfires flying alongside us. So it didn't get any better to look out the door and see that. So, yeah.
How many aircraft have you got?
We've got two Spitfires, a two-seater and a single. We've got Harvard over there, the yellow Harvard. We've got two Dakotas, two C-47s. This one in American colours, another one in Royal Air Force colours. We've got four Tiger Moths, Apprentice, various other smaller aircraft that are in states of rebuild, but we've got quite a stable of aircraft. So you will see more of joining the fleet.
What about getting hold of a Hurricane? Surely somebody must want to fly in the back of a Hurry.
We do use a Hurricane, and we use a Hurricane from the Heritage site, and we operate that Hurricane alongside, so we can offer our Spitfire people who fly the Spitfire to have a Hurricane alongside them. It's not a two-seater, but they can have an experience where the Spitfire and the Hurricane are flying alongside, and they'll be flying in our de Havilland Devon. So they'll be sitting inside the Devon, taking photos out the window of two aircraft sitting on the wingtip. And we do the dual fighter as one of our specials, if you like, and we will source the Hurricane to come and fly with us for those occasions. We haven't got our own Hurricane. Maybe the boss will buy one, who knows. And there is a two-seater that's just been built, which I think is on the market, so who knows. Watch this space.
2 million, 3 million?
Probably somewhere along that sort of money. You don't get much change out of things like that, but it's got to earn its keep. That's what we do. So aircraft aren't just bought for the fun of it. They've got to earn a keep.
Is this the way forward? Air shows, smare shows, not what they used to be, are they?
No, air shows because of restrictions. I mean, I used to come here when I was a kid, and I used to come here for the fighter meet back in the day, and watching the likes of Ray Hanna and Mark Hanna, his son, and flying daredevil heights and so on. That's gone now from the air show scene. It's got there's a lot more with the accidents that have happened, and there has been some accidents. It's changed the rules, and not for the better in my opinion, but that's the way of the world. That's we live in a health and safety conscious world. So yes, this is how to keep these warbirds working. They've got to earn the keep, they've got to earn a living, and that's what we can do by offering flights, but it has to be done safely, which Aero Legends do.
And these people are paying to look round?
Yes, yeah, we've got a lot of people now will do ground tours. All of the proceeds of this, by the way, are all going to the Poppy Appeal, British Legion.
Apart from that, you keep it?
No, we don't keep any money. All of the money that we collect from today from ground tours is
on other
to
days, though?
On other days, of course we do, yes.
Yeah.
It costs a lot to run these aircraft, but today's a charity day. A day is to remember the people who allowed us to do this. They fought in these aircraft. These aircraft took their tools of the trade. They've got some fantastic history, these aircraft. Yeah, these aircraft have got a lot of history. We're here to remember the people who gave their lives and their, as they say, their futures for our today. Their todays for our tomorrows. And here we are, in remembrance of those guys. This aircraft took part in D-Day, dropped paratroopers on Normandy, behind the beaches on June the 6th, and then again in Market Garden. And we do regular parachute drops from this aircraft now, and the guys we drop all dress up in honour of those people. We go to Normandy each year, we go to Arnhem and do those parachute drops, because this has got a lot of history, this aircraft. So, and all of the aircraft, the Spitfire, the two-seater Spitfire that we've got behind us, that it only actually flew for 5 weeks in combat before it was shot down. And it's done more hours in our hands than it ever did in squadron hands back in 1944.
When do the airframes crack up? How long will the DAC and the Spits be flying?
Well, this DAC could fly, I wouldn't say forever, but it's not lifed parts. This is down to corrosion only, and as long as it's well looked after, this will fly. This is one of the most universal, and I would say, I think Eisenhower said it's one of the aircraft or one of the 5 things that won the war for the Allies, and the Dakota was listed as one of them. Because this has done so much work in its wartime life, in commercial life after the war. They ripped the seats out of these, painted them, polished them silver, put seats in, converted into airliners. So you're looking at an aircraft that can do everything, and they're still being used now in countries across the world. South America especially, there's quite a few still used as an earn a living.
When you come back, would you like to be a Dakota?
Yeah, I'd just love to be around these aircraft. It was my passion. As a kid, I used to make all the models and so on, and then just to have this opportunity and to work with these aircraft is fantastic. And I get more of a buzz seeing other people enjoy this than doing it myself. That's why I do it.
Tell us a bit about the Spits.
Okay, both of these Spitfires are Mark 9 Spitfires. This one, this is a single-seat Spitfire. This was our first aircraft that the owner bought for Aero Legends. I think he's a lover of piston-engined aircraft, and he always wanted to get a Spitfire, so here we are. This was the start of it. Then when, as I mentioned before, the two-seater business took off, we purchased the remains of a Spitfire, which was held in a museum in northern France. The Spitfire was a single seat, delivered in 1944, in June 1944, to a Canadian squadron. That was flown by several pilots, but it got shot down in July 1944. So it only actually survived for 5 weeks. as I say, shot down 5 aircraft. We've done more hours in that now than it did in its service life. But there's a great story, if you've got time to listen to this. The day it was shot down, there was a young French lad. He was only 15 years of age, and he watched it get shot down over northern France. He watched it get attacked by 2 Focke-Wulf 190s who were chasing it. The pilot bailed out. The aircraft crashed on his father's farm, and he hid the pilot, a Canadian pilot. He hid him from the enemy. The Germans were looking for him. There's a manhunt, but they managed to hide him, hand him over to the French resistance. He got back to the UK and lived to fight another day. And he survived the war, and years later they both met. And Mon cher Albert, who's now 92, bless him, he got in touch with us because he knew we'd repaired the aircraft, and he came over to England and we took him for a flight, and he had a flight in the back seat. So that kind of closed that circuit, but fantastic story.
Those things aren't rare, are they? They're probably getting rare, but the link-ups and the coincidences and finding people who once flew, or the children, obviously, and the grandchildren of those who...
The strange part is there's always things to find. With our historian who looks at the aircraft, he was looking at all of the aircraft that we own, or that Aero Legends own, and he looked at the pilots who flew the Spitfire, and he just so happened to look at the logbook of the Dakota and noticed in 1960 one of the pilots who flew our Spitfire also in 1960 flew our Dakota. What are the chances of that both those aircraft could be owned by Aero Legends? But
what's the future then? Is it reaching for the sky?
Well, the future is, we hope that generations will pass down the love of the Spitfire. From, we see it now. We see younger people coming on. They've got the passion to see these aircraft survive, and hopefully people carry it on, and we don't let people forget why we're here today, to remember.
It costs a lot to run. You charge a lot. My wife raises her eyebrows. What sort of people are prepared to pay £2,000-3,000 for how long? 15 minute, 20 minute? A 20-minute flight. Is this mostly a bucket list, or
yeah, you've summed that up. A bucket list is definitely on the list, but you get all sorts of people. You get people who've clubbed together and bought dad a flight, So if you've got a family and they're all chipped in for a big occasion, it happens. So we get bucket list people. We've had people who've come to us and said, "Oh yeah, I was left some money by a relative, and it's something I've wanted to do all my life. So here I am. I want to do it today." So.
And you can do it now and again. Do they ever let you inside it, or do you have to pay, or do you get a deduction in your salary?
That's the beauty of Aero Legends. All of the volunteers who volunteer for Aero Legends are rewarded. We do what we do for nothing, but we get paid in flights. So I've been in the Spitfire 3 times. I've been in the Dakota numerous times as loadmaster. So that's how they reward us.
Well, we're up to about 15,000, aren't we?
Yeah, a good job I didn't have to pay for it. Let's put it like that.
You've been in them. Tell the camera, tell people, you should do it as well.
Oh, absolutely recommend it.
Why?
It's the best ride you'll ever have. In the back seat of a Spitfire. There's an old saying pilots used to say, you don't get in a Spitfire, you strap it on, and there's no truer word. The first time I ever flew in that Spitfire, I've flown in light aircraft, I've been in all sorts of aircraft, but getting that and feel the power as that surged down the runway and the gracefulness of it, it is an absolute beautiful aircraft, lovely to fly. I recommend it to anyone.
It's like a Formula 1 car, you strap it onto you, but this one takes off.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. And once it's up there, it's so sensitive on the controls, it's beautiful to fly. And being a 2-seater, we let all of our passengers fly. Once we're up there, the pilot says, you have control, and they're briefed beforehand, but then they learn to fly it themselves. That's what they do. They have the stick, they have the controls.
I don't think you emphasise that enough.
Well,
I think
that's what you can do.
You should say you can actually fly it a while.
Yeah, you can fly in a Spitfire. You can fly the Spitfire.
You can say you flew a Spitfire.
Yeah, there's not many people are going to say that. And as we say, you can bore your friends down the pub forever and a day, because you've got the Spitfire smile. I've never yet known anybody come down and they didn't enjoy it.
What is the Spitfire smile?
Spitfire smile, just like my smile all the time. It's just brilliant. Yeah.
You've got a dream job.
Thank you. Yeah.
Do you need an assistant?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people ask me that one. You'll have to ask the boss.
Lovely. Thank you very much for your
That's
time.
fine.
God
Thank you.
bless you all.
Thank you.